territory, home to Walden Lake Ojibwe Nation, as well as many other communities, including the Métis Nation. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this place.
Right. This reminds me of the Indian trip.
We also recognize the contributions of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples have made, both in shaping and strengthening our communities and province and our country as a whole. Welcome, it's nice to see a big group out tonight, and welcome to the ones that are attending online as well. I'd like to call this regular meeting of council to order at 6:01, 6 p.m. Okay. Motion to approve the agenda.
That the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace this 15th day of June 2026 approves the agenda as presented.
I need a mover, please. Councillor Deepfield, second. Councillor Lett, all in favor? Carried. Declaration of disqualifying interest pecuniary. And then noted. Approval of the minutes of the most recent meeting.
That the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace this 15th day of June 2026 approves the following minutes: May 6, 2026 special, May 8, 2026 emergency, May 11, 2026 regular, May 20th, 2026 special, May 29th, 2026 special, May 29th, 2026 emergency.
Need a mover, please? Councillor Menier, seconder. Councillor Lett. Questions? None? All in favor? Carried. No council direction from previous minutes, delegations, Andy Davenport. You're up. Welcome.
Thank you. I get to sign here.
Okay, that's good.
All right, good evening, Mayor, members of council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Andy Davenport, as many of you know, and I'm here on behalf of Ignace Golf Executive. I would also like to acknowledge the members of our executive who are present here tonight: Art Huntley, Vic Chassie, Dario Ferreira, Johan Roger, Dave Penny. This is our second time that we've appeared before council regarding the future of Ignace Golf Course. Since our last presentation, we have continued to work collaboratively with the township through regular meetings and ongoing discussions. Unfortunately, since that time, the golf course has been faced with even greater financial and operational challenges that require immediate attention. Tonight, we are respectfully requesting council support for a total investment of $295,000 to address critical infrastructure and equipment needs that are essential to the continued operation of the golf course. Before discussing those needs, I really want to emphasize and stress a very important point. The Ignace Golf Course would not be operational today without its volunteers. The course is overwhelmingly volunteer driven. Our volunteers organize events, assist with maintenance, manage operations, support fundraising initiatives, promote the facility, and contribute countless hours throughout the season. The executive committee oversees finances, planning, administration, and the day-to-day decision-making, all on a volunteer basis. Without these dedicated volunteers, the golf course simply would not exist. Every year, those volunteers donate hundreds of hours of their time because they believe in the value of this facility and what it contributes to our community. Their commitment has allowed the golf course to operate with minimal financial impact to the township, while continue to provide recreational opportunities to all ages, support community events, and attract visitors to Ignace. However, the volunteer effort can only go so far. We have reached a point where aging infrastructure and equipment can no longer be sustained through volunteer labor alone. Our two primary mowers are now over 50 years old and are becoming increasingly unreliable. Repairs are becoming more frequent, parts are difficult to source, and equipment breakdowns are affecting our ability to properly maintain the course. In addition, we require replacements of the equipment storage shed as the roof is caving in, new sea cans to secure equipment storage, and the replacement of the irrigation pump that services the fairways and greens, and additional maintenance to equipment necessary to keep the course operating safely and efficiently. To address these critical needs, we are requesting $250,000 for the golf course infrastructure and equipment improvements. We are also requesting the $45,000 for upgrades to the clubhouse kitchen. The kitchen serves not only golfers, but also community events and functions hosted at the facility. There is an urgent need for additional storage, replacement refrigeration units, and a commercial dishwasher which no longer meets current health and safety standards. These upgrades are necessary to ensure the facility can continue to serve both residents and visitors safely and effectively. We recognize that the township and the golf course are currently negotiating a new rental agreement, and we remain committed to working collaboratively throughout that process. However, the immediate financial pressures and necessary repairs cannot wait. The ongoing burden of maintaining aging infrastructure is creating significant strain on our volunteers and operating budget, and is beginning to threaten the long-term sustainability of the course. The Ignace Golf Course is simply not just a recreational facility. It is a tourism asset. Last season alone, more than 350 golfers visited from outside our community. Those visitors purchased fuel, meals, accommodations, groceries, and other services from local businesses. The course also hosts tournaments, events, and gatherings that bring in additional visitors to Ignace throughout the season. With the proper investment and support from council, we believe the golf course can become an even greater tourism destination for Northwestern Ontario. The funding is not about maintaining status quo, it is about creating opportunities for growth. A well-maintained golf course enhances the quality of life for residents, strengthens community pride, attracts visitors, and helps showcase Ignace as a desirable place to live, work, and raise a family. As our community looks towards future growth and development, recreational assets such as the golf course become increasingly important in attracting new residents and retaining those who already call Ignace home. We are also requesting that the golf course can be formally included in the township's capital asset management plan and future community development initiatives. The golf course is a community asset, and it should be recognized and supported as such. We believe that there may be opportunities through the discretionary community benefit funding identified within the hosting agreement. Investing in the golf course would directly support recreation, tourism, economic development, and community well-being while preserving an asset that serves residents and visitors alike. Tonight, we are not asking for a handout, we are asking for a partnership. The volunteers have demonstrated their commitment year after year. They have invested their time, their energy, and their dedication, as well as personal funds, to keep this facility operating for the benefit of this community. Now we are asking council to invest alongside us. With the township's support, the Ignace Golf Course can not only survive, or will not only survive, it can flourish. It will continue to attract tourists, it will continue to support local businesses, host community events, and become an even stronger asset for future generations. Most importantly, it can remain a source of pride for our community and help showcase everything that makes Ignace a great place to visit and even a better place to call home. Thank you for your time, your consideration, and your continued support.
Thank you. I have a question. Not the kitchen, but the 250,000, do you have a list of items that you need, and did you get quotes from?
Yep.
Okay, so can that be supplied to the town?
There's 7 copies here for you.
Okay, thank you very much. Question, Councillor Taddeo?
I got a question.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to thank you because you invited me to your last meeting there, and I went to the last meeting, and I was actually quite impressed.
Thank you.
I know, have you guys ever been down, have you been down to the golf course?
Oh, well,
You guys, have you
Don't mind.
It's a beautiful building, right? So I had the pleasure of spending some time with Mr. Chassis there, and he took me around there. And everything in that golf course, he kept on saying, I said, well, who owns it? Well, you own it, like the township owns it. We own the golf course.
Mhm.
It's part of our township.
Yeah.
The taxpayers own that golf course, right?
Mhm.
So I walked around in there and I went in through the kitchen and that, everything in there is dilapidated. It's all 50, 60-year-old junk that was passed on from, maybe at that time it was good. It was, it served its purpose. It came from the M&R, right? So all the kitchen appliances basically are 50, 60 years old. They're not working. They got to get replaced. Then we went down to the building there where their equipment is stored. You might as well give them a push lawnmower, because it's probably better than what they got. It's all old dilapidated equipment, right? Everything that they need, what they're asking for is they need it. They need it to operate. But the moral of the story is we own the golf course. That golf course belongs to us. And for us to attract people to come to this community, because we're in direct competition with Thrive right now. That thing has to thrive, right? We have to get that up to par. So I don't have a problem giving them the $300,000 to get it up to par, because that's what we need. We need something to attract people to come to this community. We spend $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 a year on the arena. Am I correct? Right? We spend $100,000 on other minor, like, what does it cost us for the summer programs and stuff like that?
That's built into it.
Right.
That's built into.
So we're spending that, like, we're supporting everybody,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So what I'm saying is, we should be supporting them, we should be giving them the money, we have the money from the hosting agreement, we should be doing it. But the only thing I ask is that the township gets more involved with their committee. We have to have our hands in it,
Members on there.
you know?
Yep, 100%. All our meetings are open to the public, as well as we can make a position on the executive for a member of the township or the recreation programmer to sit in on those meetings as well.
Well, we have to be involved. If we're gonna give that kind of money, the township of Ignace has to be involved. You know, we own it. The township of Ignace
Yeah,
owns that,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And, like I said, they can't wait, because, I don't know, that much about golfing or anything like that, but I know a little bit about equipment and buildings and that. They're dilapidated. They're.
I know, and the last meeting that, Andy came to us, we wanted a list.
Yeah.
We wanted a list of all them.
So that would be my question. So it's township owned?
Yeah.
And we have different reports coming in every month. Can we get a monthly report from now on?
Yeah.
Of the expenditures and the resources and what, how this works out? That would be really great.
Okay. Counselor Patio.
Like, we've given a lot of money out, from that hosting agreement to
Yeah, we have.
everybody in town, different organizations, right? And for that thing to thrive.
They need some things, yes.
They need it.
Okay. Counselor Manier.
You will short.
Well, I just wanna sort of comment on what you had on saying with Councilman Patio. I do believe the golf course committee had come here hand in hand or request in hand with some time ago. I don't know what, how long ago it was, somebody can refresh my memory, but I know it was a few months back. Maybe even before the new year started, but anyways. I think at that time there was a request for, I'm gonna say this list here, that is not being provided. And, we discussed about supporting it at that point in time, but we needed a list.
Yeah.
And the CEO needed to address it too, because we knew back then that it belongs to us. It belongs to the township, not to us personally, but to the township. And, the committee, the golf course club is, renting the facilities, and, as the landlord, you have to make sure that the facility is up to snuff, so. But,
Yes. No, sorry.
I also, did you ever meet with the, CEO?
Yep.
Okay, good enough. Thank you.
You want me to
I can bring, so Counselor Benier was right. I mean, as the landlord, we have a responsibility, especially
Mhm.
with relation to some of the equipment in the arena.
At the golf, yeah.
I mean, that should be just done outside of the 100 or 292. But I mean, in terms of the 250, I could certainly bring a report back
Mhm.
I do have one question, however,
Okay.
in terms of the equipment for the kitchen, is that inclusive of labor or is that just for the equipment that you've included in the cost?
That was just for the equipment.
Okay.
And if I may speak, so the dishwasher that I mentioned, we have made multiple requests that it be fixed. And it is now a health and safety thing, and we host many events.
So that's something that
It's a
you
very-
need to look
It's
at.
a very pressing
immediately.
issue that
Okay.
we've brought to the attention of
Okay,
staff that hasn't been resolved.
okay,
Lots of the stuff we try to fix on our own, however, this is something we can't fix.
okay. Yeah, appreciate that. Counselor. Evan.
Can we get a timeline on this? Like, I don't want this to drag on all summer long here. Like, can we get a timeline when we can get the equipment ordered? Cause I mean, we got the money, right? Well, the hosted agreement.
Do we have the one?
Sorry?
Do we have the one?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
the hosted agreement. We got the money, don't we?
so, yeah, I mean, this could, through the mayor, this
Yeah.
could have been, like, I've been asking for this for the last 4 or 5 months, right? So, I mean, we could have avoided all this delay. Now that we got to this, we can proceed with
Yeah.
purchasing. And in terms of it's hard to get contractors. We just signed with Chloe Darling to come and look at all our mechanical equipment, including the kitchen at the arena, to start looking and cleaning, because that has been not properly maintained. So one of those pieces of equipment is the golf course's sanitary unit.
Okay, and the only thing I ask is, can we get them involved when we're purchasing the equipment? So, because these guys are the experts. They know what.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I
So
mean?
I'm hoping, I haven't seen the list yet, I'm hoping that we named a specific equipment.
Okay.
So if, then we can, there's multiple ways I can do this. We can source it out. We can go through Canoe. We have an account with Canoe. So we can look on to see, I mean, a proper asset management strategy would be to purchase new. Right, to avoid any maintenance costs.
Yeah.
And then sell it before it becomes 50 years old. They would be selling it at 10 years old to a community and then purchasing a new one, and then that way it's a higher end expenditure. However, you're avoiding the maintenance costs as a result of continuing to have this older equipment.
Of course,
Okay.
it's under warranty for a few years too, right?
Counselor, do you feel?
So given that we would have to have a report to council before we can approve these expenditures, can we get notification when the report is ready and we can have a special meeting of council, so it doesn't have to wait the month before we meet again?
Absolutely, we gotta do something. That, my way of thinking is this unit for the dishes has to be
Does it
ASAP.
does it need a new one, or is it maintenance
It's
issue?
probably old.
Can I ask?
Calvin, can you tell us?
Well, I've been dealing with
Sorry.
this I'm sorry. Been working with Wayne, I think his name is.
Mhm.
And the problem is, he can't find anybody that wants to come and fix it. So we live in a disposable world right now.
Mhm.
Nobody fixes TVs and apparently nobody fixes dishwashers anymore. So he can't find anybody. He's
It's
like,
50 years old anyways.
well, it is old, it's horribly old, but this brings up, like, speaking, building off what Councilor Tattle said was, purchasing equipment is one thing, maintaining it is another thing.
Mhm.
If it's a community asset, then I would hope that somehow it becomes not only part of the asset management plan, but the maintenance of the asset should be maintained, or hopefully help maintain with the help, like the sharpening of the reels and stuff like that. Yeah, we will look after that. That's part of the everyday golf course. But, at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, or, if somebody could look it over and say, hey, your hydraulic pump is leaking, or hey, the clutch is bad. Like, if we could get that
Okay,
included, that would be very helpful as well to increase the longevity of that.
okay. Thank you, Calvin.
So from what I understand, the history of the building is that, besides the fact that it's beautiful, is that when it's shut down, or if it's shut down for the winter, it's not being shut down properly. And there's leaks and
So-
breakages in the lines and stuff like that. So I'm just want to finish. So with our new equipment, how is that going to be addressed?
So every year we winterize and clean the building properly and correctly. However, the building does get used over the winter, not by the golf course. So when the golf course operates, they operate from May 15th to October 15th, to which we go through a thorough checklist, which I don't know if Dwayne has been out there at the beginning of the year, but last year we maintained steady communication with Dwayne to make sure that we left that building in the condition, if not better. However, I may be speaking out of turn. I don't know if the building gets winterized because it is used during the winter by the ski club and other local groups as well.
So, sorry, that was my point. So if the golf course leaves it winterized.
So we don't winterize any of the pipes. We clean it and close it and close.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can speak to one important point, but, so there is a challenge out there with the
Sanitary.
yeah, washrooms don't work in the winter because the pipes freeze. There's a couple of issues that have been identified that needs to be investigated. Not sure if they've been investigated, but one of the theories is the way that furnace works, there's a drip line in, and because that drip line is so slow, in the winter, it doesn't have enough flow. It would just freeze the snow. So one of the suggested solutions was get down there and relocate that drain line from the septic field, just to put a drain line right down into the ground, which may help that. Or apparently there's a camera at the town has, if they were gonna run a
Yes.
camera to our septic field to see maybe it is a busted pipe.
Okay.
But so the last 2 years, in order to try to alleviate that problem, we've asked the ski club not to run their equipment from the line, from the clubhouse to the.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we're trying to mitigate
Okay.
the problem.
So just to end so with all due respect, then, these issues have not necessarily been brought to the township in a timely fashion. This is the first time I'm hearing about it,
I've been doing,
except for 3 or 4 years ago, I was there with a different council. And the furnace wasn't running and there was broken pipes and things like that, so.
If I may, every issue with the building has been brought forward to our communication with Dwayne or Phil at the township.
Okay, good to know, thank you.
Counselor Tadeo.
So the last thing I want to say, Andy, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
The last thing I want to say, it's very important that we have communications, right?
Mhm.
We have to have the township involved with you guys.
Yep.
And if we do that, it's gonna work. Then, things doesn't run away on us, right?
Okay, thank you very much. The way it's left, I believe, Aaron will bring a report back. Not waiting and probably calling a special meeting for it.
Through the mayor.
My
So there is-
understanding.
I'm anticipating a special meeting in the next week. So
Okay.
maybe next week, I will rush
And
to,
can we,
And
I will rush and put this as a priority to make sure that it's on.
yeah, especially
we'll work it into the budget.
for the dishes, yeah. Okay,
Um,
council's good with that? Yeah,
I can't see why we just
Okay.
can't go ahead and start ordering the equipment of it.
Well, I'd have to get authorization to spend the money first.
Right. But I mean, you're gonna look into it, start looking into it,
I'll start getting, yeah.
right?
and you're gonna have a meeting next week.
Perfect.
Okay,
Sorry,
okay,
this is highly specialized equipment. I don't wanna make any mistakes here. I'm not insinuating anybody's gonna
Yeah.
make a mistake. But I really appreciate, well, the thing is, if that's used, we had already had a list about 2 weeks ago that Vic had provided us, and that list is already obsolete because every piece of machinery on Vic's original list has already been sold. So it's not like buying a Gala apple and a Macintosh apple.
okay,
We need to make sure that we get the right type of greens more, fairing more. So any substitution on that list, all I'm asking for is if somebody on the maintenance side of the golf course could be involved in that.
Well, that's what we-
exactly,
That's
that's
what we
what
said.
Councilor Patio said, yes.
We want to
There's
involve.
makes and models here. There's a store in Thunder Bay. It's called the Lawn something. I was just there not too long ago. It looked like they had, I mean, I don't know anything about one lawnmower to the next, but, it looked like they had some larger machines that have the front end, Toros and Stills and a whole bunch of stuff.
So while you're doing,
May I see them? Toros, the Manitoba, where I was looking on the listing.
Yeah.
They go from 32,000 to 89,000.
Yeah. They're higher.
They're higher.
okay, so
I'm just,
Aaron, you'll look into that and with the input of somebody from the golf course.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Great job.
Great job. Yeah. Slide, check it.
Okay, 6.2, final coaching, deputation, request.
I got a question on this.
Oh, okay,
So, and don't get me wrong, listen, I love you to death, you know, and I still think you're the best part of this town's ever had. But,
You can wait till next month if you want.
no, I don't wanna wait till next month.
I didn't give you
No, I'm not
all
gonna
the
wait till,
paperwork.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting till next month, but I see it was put in on the tenth.
okay,
But
then,
I didn't finish the paperwork. I did the backup paperwork.
Yeah, deputation was put in, and he put in a note that said,
Whatever.
Whatever to follow.
Hang on a second. The deputation was put on the tenth, correct?
Mhm.
That's 5 days,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get stuff on the council meetings for the last 3 years and you
And
guys
you
tell
have
me,
to wait.
I gotta wait 10 days? And there's other people, people from the community that we've got rejected. And listen, I wanna hear your knowledge, cause I think you're an intelligent man, but I'm just saying, I don't think it's fair.
I think you
he
should wait.
had contacted me earlier than that.
Well, they-
Within the
yeah,
10 days, but by the time he got the deputation, but he had a
Well,
copy of
the
that.
email that I got was on the tenth, right? Anyways, it doesn't matter, I just wanna point it. Oh, sorry.
Lionel, would you like to? Do you wanna just sit there, or do you wanna,
Yeah.
however you feel comfortable?
Quite honest,
Denver,
quite
just,
honestly, I feel bad because of the fact that I did prepare some paperwork and everything else, but I
Yeah.
didn't get it on time. Roxanne, and in all fairness, I think
that's
this should
okay,
be put off till next
No,
month,
no,
and then
no,
that
no.
way you'll have time to digest it. And figure it out, and you might tell me, I'm ready to go, you know, because it's very simple.
I respect that, that offer, because, too many times we get, just presented with these things at the last minute, and we haven't had a chance to look over the equipment.
That's right.
The information.
I wanna hear you.
I'll simplify it real good.
yeah, that's fine.
And I already sent you a letter, written, I don't know if you guys got a copy of it.
Mhm.
All right. Unfortunately, the other people didn't see it. But I guess you can go on the online, eh?
Yeah. And I had sent the package in at 12, and he sent it to me. Like that. and I'm like,
Yeah, I know it's a little too late,
Mhm.
but I'd done it in the morning, you'd been all right.
Yeah.
Got up too late.
It's okay, Lionel. Just take her easy. We're all human.
Well, one of my biggest concern, of course, was that when I hear stories that people are going, taxes are gonna go up. And, I'm happy, thanks, that somebody voted that out. It's not gonna go up yet, they're still thinking about it. But I know how hard that is to do the budgets and everything else and come up with, try to figure out where the money's gonna come from. And that issue. Also know that, you have to do those budgets and you got it for what you have to do. And obviously you've done that. But it seems, despite the challenges, administration, teamwork, this is going back in history there a little bit. And how we got our funding when I was mayor. Now that brought up another thought, just now when you talked about the golf course, we invested in the golf course back 16 years ago. To get funding, we had a problem getting it because, people were applying to it with the province and, I believe or the federal government, province and there. Trillium Foundation.
Mhm.
And of course, we didn't meet their criteria. So we had to be very, come up with some ideas. And the only way we were able to get funding to get rid of the old building, there was an old trailer there that was demolished, is that we had to present ourselves as to get dollar for dollar, we invested dollar for dollar, and we got money from the Truman Foundation, I believe it was. You can correct me if I'm wrong. On the basis that it involved youths as well,
Mhm.
and that's why it's a 24-hour operator, 12-month operation as opposed to golf course only.
Mhm.
So it's supposed to be meant for CDL and kids, and when you include youth in there, we were able to get extra funding for that.
Mhm.
We didn't get enough funding to make a really good building, but then I was embarrassed over the quality of the building they built. But again, that always is the case, because the bidder always, who is bidder never does a good job, right? It seems to me, the big. Read it all here. Okay, one of the key points I want to emphasize is that it seems to be the understanding, the whole town that I hear, they think all the money's coming from NWMO, and it's almost as if the community owns the NWMO, or NWMO owns the Ignace. Throw that out, because that's not the case. We gotta emphasize that NWMO is one, not the only source that you need to look at. Remember, it's Canada's plan. And many other agencies will be involved. We should have a economic development committee in place. There are many other opportunities that were once identified that seem to have gone by the wayside. In our economic development, I recall, the unfortunate thing about Ignace is that every time there's a new council, it's like everybody attacks each other, and all new council comes in, and then everything that was started, it's forgotten about. So we had an economic development officer, and I was working with him, and we had identified the needs that we could have used. That's before NWO was even thought of. Where, of course, we had opposition from the old council about the trucking industry. We are located midpoint between Calgary and Toronto. We're in the midpoint. At that time, we were starting up, identified the fact that, and it was working for a little while. Tempo, the truck, Tempo was here.
Being
The restaurant was here.
Yeah.
The truckers, they were up for sale, but still, it could have been sold to a good company that would have kept that going. We had Beachy's Trucking. We were doing fixing trucks. We had, the Vex tires for big trucks. We had a welding shop that opened up. We had people that had, they were buying homes here because the people that are living in Calgary and Toronto that don't want to live in the city because they can't afford it, would have lived in Ignace and traveled that way or that way, right? And they would be home every other day, more often than you trying across Canada. Not to mention that they could service highway up to 599, up Muscle White, and then also the Ring of Fire came into play. Those are the things that seem to have been totally forgotten. The Ring of Fire, we were dealing with Indigenous people about training, driving trucks, driving equipment, and having a learning center here. I know somebody got rid of hired economic development officer, that the brochure, they're all gone. I never seen any more after that. So anyway, some of the agencies are, some of the agencies that are gonna be concerned with, that we should be looking at, and what's really important is that this NWMO, we wanna make sure that, you know, safety first, right? So if it goes forward, they can't do it safely, because we don't want it. They can do it, and I think Canada has a good safety record. They haven't had any problems for the last 70 years. Even the people that are saying that there was all kinds of problems with Chalk River and all that stuff. Nobody died from that. I could go into something else about that, but anyway. Canadian CNSC there, Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission. It's responsible for regulating the safety and waste management. So they'll be offices, and we should be pushing the people, we should be talking to these people to see if they can have an officer. We should be talking to Canadians, like involve the federal. It's not Ontario, it's not Ford is gonna do it. It could be part of them, but federal organization that would, sorry, it takes so long. I was just gonna say it. Okay. For natural resources. National Energy Board, those are all people that are gonna be staffing the offices in Ignis. And we need places for them, and they wanna live in a nice place. So there's no reason why we can't expect Canada to also help us and how we can fit in here. Environmental climate change, another one, ECC. I don't know how that involved, because I don't know anything about that, but you might wanna, every plane might be involved with something. Ministry of Environment, of course, conservation, and parks. You know, they wanna make sure that nothing is hurt, damaged or anything. Power generation, power generation is involved, because they're big contributors in paying. And international agencies. I'll give you a list of this, because that list is in
The email that you sent,
Yeah.
the other thing that.
Yeah. You gave us some ideas on where to go for,
Yeah.
you know, for
International
grants or.
Atomic Energy Agency.
Mhm.
Now, I think right now, I don't know whether it's Geneva or Vienna, or I don't know where they are, do you know there? They're the place in the world that monitors all.
In Vienna.
Vienna, okay, I got it right. You went there?
Yeah.
Good. Because they regulate all the nuclear work around the world, and they monitor it, so. They'll be involved with that, and they're sure, they'll want to make sure that Ignis is gonna be up to par for their people, because they're well-paid people. World Nuclear Association, not sure that's pretty all the countries that are associated. They'll be visiting Ignis,
Mhm.
a lot of them, so.
Yeah.
You wanna make sure you got a good presentation, I'm sure Canada will wanna make sure it looks good. There'll be local or regional offices, of course, and it'll bring in a lot of other permit, people that compliance issues and labor boards and you name it.
Mhm.
It's not the end of it, but, and of course, the NWO, but we should get away from the idea that NWO is the answer to all the things, right? Because they aren't. And you should prepare yourself in the event that something goes wrong.
Mhm.
What if they determine that it's not gonna go for some reason? Or they get mad because somebody, new council comes along, and say, hey, we don't want them, here it is, and everything goes south. We gotta be protected with something else,
And prepared.
not to say that be negative, it's just to be positive, that we
Mhm.
can move on. The Ring of Fire is an opportunity, that, I think it went south. But I don't know, I don't hear any more about it. McFall Lake, one time. I was at the MNR office, I went to speak to the MNR people. And we looked up where's Ring of Fire? Well, McFall Lake, and we looked at it, and it went like that. And it's way closer to 599 than it is to Nakina Highway, Nakina.
Mhm.
And the ministers, I just got kicked out of Nakina or whatever it was, we're meeting somewhere. But, building the railroad there, and it was like, gonna cost me a lot of money to do it. And you could just as well do it from here, you know, it would probably be better, because the highway's already here. But you're still talking about building a railroad, I think, from Nakina, which it makes sense, but
Mhm.
I think Ignace could look at something like that.
Yeah.
That's where you need a,
Can we get a copy of that?
yes, I haven't got this on here, but I'm telling you.
We have a limit of 10 minutes.
Okay, I'm done. Just so you know.
I love listening to you and your ideas and, the email that you sent us, and maybe that's part of it there. There's some good ideas there. Do you wanna, okay, go ahead.
Mr.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We gotta remind the federal government, we're assuming long-term national stewardship responsibility equivalent to other nuclear host jurisdictions. So we should receive legislated host community status, compensatory fiscal tools, in other words, host municipality designation. So the provinces and the federals recognize us as a host
Yeah.
municipality designation. And that'll change a whole lot of things. By doing that, we can expect provincial property tax relief, special property tax reductions for residents within the DGR municipality. We should be looking at actual relief for our residents,
Okay.
because when we entered this thing, when we first went looking for it and we decided it needs to have this, that was one of the considerations. We were very hurt and very badly at the time, and we wanted to make sure that we could stay alive. We didn't want to increase any more taxes. We certainly didn't want to increase any more taxes. But this is a way of
Mhm.
keeping that down. They do that for the other.
Yeah. Well.
Right.
Council DPO is going to meet with the ministers this fall. So maybe we can start that ball rolling with that, with the federal government.
I think
Councilor Tadio.
I think we already started that ball rolling with the, federal government when
We have been.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, I could come back, council, and just reiterate some of the things that we've been doing.
Well,
we already
yeah,
talked to the ministers. I remember we asked her,
Structure.
Right now.
Innovate.
Yeah.
right, we were asking her.
Environment.
sorry, Lionel, were you on?
I'm done.
And then we can have a copy of that?
Yeah.
Please?
We also asked them for the offices.
Yeah,
We did,
Yeah, add on to that.
not all there, but we.
yes, okay,
Anyways, yeah.
thank you.
I'll bring it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Great job.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Lionel.
We will continue our work with the,
Okay.
with the programs and the government and, thank you very much. Okay, You know, legislative matters. Consent agenda, 7.3. What am I pulling? Oh, sorry, 7.2.1, motion to approve the consent agenda.
That the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace does hereby approve the consent agenda for this regular meeting of council this 15th day of June 2026, and all directions and recommendations or motions included herein.
Mover, please. Councilor Minier, Councilor DeFeo seconded, all in favor? Carried. I'm going to pull 7.2.7, 7.2.8, 7.2.9, 7.2.10, 7.2.11, 7.2.12, 7.2.13, 7.2.14, 7.2.15, 7.2.16, and 7.2.18. Sorry, guys. Anyone else want to pull anything?
You mentioned 7.2.7.
Yep.
Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you.
You guys should leave.
Or no?
Sorry,
Thank you.
Practice for all.
Yeah. I know.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Excuse me. 7.2.7 Northern Water Works monthly reports. Okay, so going through these reports, I noticed that there has been an increase in alum and chlorine in the system. So that obviously means increased charges. Are we receiving bills that are increasing? Sorry.
No, I'm just, do you want to
Like-
speak to this, or do you want me to speak to this?
Speak to it.
So we, our agreement with Northern Water Works is a long one. It's been, I think, 8 years. That agreement is a cost plus model, meaning, that the cost plus, depending on whether, so they give an estimate at the beginning of the year. If I may make this a little bit lengthier than just about your question, just wanted to give some context.
Okay.
That it is a cost plus. Now, what's unfortunate is, and I've been speaking with them to bring the budget down because, even though the budget went up, as we know, quite a bit last year, 22%, but then it was drastically under budget. So they increased the budget by 22%, but actually their costs are under that. They could have left it at a certain percentage. And at that percentage, it would have been fine. So there was an additional cost that now we've just invoiced them for a sum of 100 and some odd thousand to recapture because it is a cost plus model. Unfortunately, that model also includes that if they are under budget, they get a bonus from it. So we've asked them this year to revise their budget to be more reflective of the actual costs. So we are still waiting on that new budget. If we don't, because we've been waiting on a couple of things before we can proceed with this budget. However, we will probably proceed without their budget and tell them what their expenses are gonna be. And then we'll have to find out how that's gonna work it, because it's getting to the point where we can't wait any longer for this.
Can I not, so, if, in the agreement, is there not, an agreement between the township and, the Waterworks company, to provide the information that is asked for in a timely manner?
So there is an audited, report at the end of the year. So they provide us an audited report, from a reputable company that does financial auditing, to validate the information. Essentially, they're validating the information that they are given, right? So, I mean, we could go into the nuts and bolts of every expenditure. Again, but that's gonna be, you know, at the expense of other stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, like, I could go through, line by line and make sure that, and they've offered to do this for us, to go through this. I know it's expensive, but I'm trying to push through some of these larger projects and as you know, too, Leslie is, you know, she's managing two positions with elections and
No.
we are,
I totally respect that. So, but again, from what I'm hearing and understanding is that the budget is being held up. In order to get this information and they're not providing the information. So like you suggested, just go ahead and give them a
yeah,
budget, and if it doesn't,
yeah, I mean, it's gonna be risky, right? Because we're seeing heightened inflation recently because of whatever in the market's going on. And, you know, it could result in us having to pay them a lump sum at the end of the year. Either way, the expenses are the expenses and how that plays out at the end of the year, depends on what the contract says. Now, when we move forward, next time we get a service provider for this, I won't be signing up we won't be signing up a 10-year agreement. I don't even think that's legal.
right,
I think NAFTA requires only 3 years, the maximum you can do first. Second, I would probably want to move with a model that is, a lump sum, and we built in the risk, much like you would do with any other contract,
Right.
and have the contractor build in the risk for that, because then we can at least know what those expenditures are for the next 3 years, or year over year, and
Sure.
have that built into
yeah,
the budget.
because it's hard enough to predict for 3 years, let alone 10 years. So this is another thing that we're historically, have to deal with because of the previous decisions. But for sure, have this move forward, because the budget to me is the most important thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we've replied to, where we want to work, so we've provided them information, sort of the data, explaining why we're pushing back.
Mhm.
And they've acknowledged that there's an error on their side. And they were supposed to get back to us. And so what we can circle back and say, you know,
Yeah.
here's the lump sum you're gonna get for the year,
Yeah.
and we'll figure it out at the end of the year. 'Cause
Okay.
I can add further to that. We met with Northern Water Works to discuss that. They were supposed to have the budget back to us by Friday the 5th. And it wasn't back in time. And there's also some other maintenance that will be required. So that will
Yeah,
need to be included.
Mind you,
Okay.
in that discussion, sorry if I can, sorry, I didn't mean to. They are, our infrastructure over there is really old. There was a instance in January where they've had to act in an emergency. So they're under a lot of, I don't know what else they got going in other communities, but I know here, they got a lot of things going on here as well, so. I don't wanna put it
Okay.
all in a bad light.
Right.
I mean, there's lots of things going on. I'm sure they've had to make judgment calls on what is important and what's not.
Councilor Tavia?
Can you explain something to me here? Like, we got a budget, we signed a contract for 10 years. You're telling me we can't move forward with our budget because we're waiting for their budget? Is that what you're telling me?
So, well, it's more the maintenance expenses,
But the thing
because
is,
it's our infrastructure.
we have,
That's what was supposed to come on June 5th.
So just to OCIF funding, so we have.
you're talking about capital, you're talking about capital?
Yeah, so we get a certain amount of money. Expenditures, and we're supposed to spend so much each year for that. And we did spend a lot of money last year.
I mean, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's good, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? No? Okay, moving on. 7.2.8, Minister of Senior. I thought that maybe the council could proclaim June as Seniors Month.
do we not do that every year?
Well, you have to.
We
proclaim it,
right.
yeah. Oh, yeah, we do. Everyone in agreement to that? Yeah. Okay, thank you. 7.2.9, City of Richmond Integrated Living and participation model for adults with developmental disabilities. So I, thought this council can support, consider exploring innovative models of housing and support for adults with developmental disabilities, including the potential for an integrated living and participation model. I'm just wondering what council feels, that, just to support that motion for the York.
No problems.
Question?
No, I, just with the consent agenda, don't we approve all of it? It would just discuss, like,
Will you approve it all?
Is this that you want to support it in York, or do you want something similar drafted for?
Well, I thought, that's why I'm bringing it forward, to support from our community to there. Or does it, approving them, we do anyways?
Yeah.
Okay, then I don't have to do all that discussion then. Yeah, we would be. Okay, so are we, is there any other questions to any of the other stuff?
Just to support all these ones.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so we'll move forward then. Administrative matters, new business report from officers, 8.1.1, Lake Needs Fire Department. Any question? Good report. Looks like, they don't have to help out too much with the ambulance lifts and stuff, which is, very good that, yes, Councilor Deidre.
just a grateful shout out to our fire department. They had a very busy month and appreciate all the hard work and volunteer hours that they commit to the community.
Mhm.
If I may to add to that too, so we've reached out to Russo's,
Oh,
given
yes.
their, so we offered, a, similar to what we have at Domtar Resolution is
Mhm.
having a, agreement to provide fire services. That way we're not having to wait, or they're not having to wait to,
For M&R.
M&R's authority to go. So we have figured out a way to do it, so we can still act immediately, and then the cost of application of costs would be figured out following that. So, because forest fires, especially on a windy day, things can change really fast, so, I'm still waiting for a response from them about that. Just wanted
Thank
to give
you.
that update,
Yeah.
so, and this is not just, obviously, we should probably offer these fire services to any other reasonably close camps or whatever, just because, I mean, yeah.
They're in
Okay.
charge,
Councilor Tony.
they're in charge of this.
Yeah, so, the terms of the agreement would be, we act immediately, and then if M&R does not cover the cost, and in that instance, they don't cover the cost for that, which they should because it's outside the bounds, then it would trigger, a discussion with them, at which point they would either pay out of pocket or their insurance would cover it. We've also well, I don't know how much of this actually discussed, but anyways, we figure out a way to cover the cost and figure out a way that it won't be at the expense of taxpayers.
We did explain that the fire market would, so make sure and have that in your insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they did say if it wasn't for Ignace Fire Department, they would have lost it.
Wow,
So
that's great for them. Moving on. 8.1.2 Indigenous Relations and Communication Development Strategist Council update. That is a lot of Words. Keith,
Yes.
did you wanna speak to that?
No, I'm lost of words right now.
Are you? I don't think you are. I don't think, yeah, exactly, I know.
Everything's in there, if anybody has any specific ideas on what they would like to ask, because you know, I go on for hours.
Any questions from the council? You left it at us.
No, I just wanna let council know and through there that, engagement itself is a 24/7 activity. You never turn off.
Mhm.
Just,
Okay.
always on the go.
Thank you. Nothing more? 8.1.3 CAO quarterly report. I would just like to say, nice color that the community picked out for the arena. I love that color. And I'm glad I'm glad that you did that for them to submit what they wanted.
Yep.
Yes,
Through the mayor, it wouldn't have been my first choice, but,
it's mine.
respectfully, it was an overwhelming majority, so what am I gonna say, right? So yeah, to that, we heard what people have to say about it, and we proceeded. We are also looking at, so it's gonna be the slate blue with the white, off-white accent, so it'd be like an ivory white. We're also discussing to have accents at the entrances too, so the entrances will sort of pop, right? And also, just so you know, there is a little bit of leeway in the procurement bylaw for additional costs. I just wanted to put that out there because I really do think we should upgrade some of the doors there. It would be real disappointment to have brand new, you know,
Facility, yeah.
fully efficient facility with doors that are 40 years old. So I think we're gonna proceed with that. I'm gonna wait for the cost implications about that. I'm gonna have to, anything above a certain percentage, of course, I'll be coming back to council. There are little change requirements we're sort of identifying first, because sometimes these things sort of don't arise until that's one of the good model is to proceed with the contractor as part of this, right? And that obviously costs more, but there's less change orders.
Right.
We moved to have engineering, anyways, so there are gonna be some changes. We're gonna make sure we identify. One of them might also be, so there, if you'll probably remember, a retaining wall against, so with the pad, making sure that there's accessibility, and the pad making sure that, you know, we have that entrance on the west side there. If there's any conflict with that adjacent property, we might just identify and have that in. That said, I was supposed to bring a report back on the cost, so anything related to that, I'll be bringing back to council. Related to that, so obviously council would have to make a decision on whether we're gonna proceed.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions related to?
Yes, Dr. Daniel.
I think it's very important that you give us a little bit of an update with the new subdivision.
Yes, so we're working out, okay. There is some stuff in the close that I want to discuss about the details of that agreement. I think it would be very important to have an understanding of what that means. Because obviously when that agreement gets drafted, it's gonna come back to council. I'm gonna give an update with legal to give you the full details and understanding of what that implicates. Because it is gonna be a little bit different from that of what we normally do under selling properties, right? So I think it'd be important to understand to wrap your head around what we're doing here. But I mean, we are literally at the nth degree of getting this drafted and bringing it back.
So could it be safe to say that we'll probably see some progress in July?
Yes. Yeah, so he is ready to go. He's explained that we need to get going on this. We agree. But it is important to get this agreement right. So we the plan is still the plan. I'm hoping Maybe we can discuss with Silvio on, releasing his information on Amphiba. Through the Amphiba and ask him if we can release this, that way people in the community can understand what his actual plan is.
And my last question is, this house that's been driving me nuts on Front Street here for the last 3 years, when's the expectation made to demolish it?
Well,
Like, I mean,
it is this year. It is this, I have it, so we don't have to do the abatement, because the building is not safe to abate first, so we're gonna abate while we but I'm having to make a judgment call, so the next thing, again, like, we're also supposed to get a cost implication for the 2022 FIR, as you know, because that is gonna be listed as a liability from this point forward on our, submissions. So I have to get that tender out to get a contractor or an engineering firm on board in order for us to give us a cost implication X many years in the future before we submit our 2022, which is also scheduled to be submitted this year. So I'm like, I know I'm trying to balance things based upon a deadline schedule, and I understand that I do have a couple of contractors. I just have to give them the scope of work and say, give me a price for this.
thank you.
Okay. Counselor Defield.
So we have a Band-Aid over the compliance officer issue, but we have no plans in work for the chief building status.
Yeah.
We don't have anything in line for compliance officer. If we had no luck the first time, is there some language that could be changed so that we have someone? There's a lot of conversations around pets being left loose, cats being out, yards being in a state. So unless this is something that the CAO is going to, take responsibility for, can we look at doing something inventive with the compliance officer, so we might have someone
Yes.
come for that?
We, so the township, and this is, it's just, again, availability of time. We are intending on dividing the compliance officer with bylaw and the building. We're having an issue getting, the building portion of that. We did have interviews, 3 on paper looked really good. None of them really landed. So we are gonna divide that position. I was actually talking to Crossroads Employment today about if there was possibly even somebody in town that would be able to take on that job, and the township would train them appropriately. So we are in the next week, we're gonna issue another job position available just for bio.
Okay. Keith, you were gonna make comment?
Yes, to the mayor, for yourself. In regards to the bylaw officer, it is council's preview to appoint bylaw designation to a representative of township staff. Just as an FYI, that's something that can happen. I err on the side of caution that because unfortunately your staff is busy and take time out of the day to do that kind of field work is cumbersome to senior staff. However, in the meantime, senior staff can write letters of concern to property owners in the meantime to say, we see you. Yeah.
Okay.
And we have issued a few letters in that.
If I may add to that,
Thank you.
it's like property standards, we can go out there and physically see that the property standard is not to standard. It's a little bit difficult when it's online. Because then we just have to take somebody's word that an instance happened, unless there's a bite, obviously we can see the bite. So it makes it a little bit challenging when, like, for instance, there was a photo of a dog on there, the dog was just there looking. Now it should be leashed, obviously, but I don't know whose dog it is, I don't know where it is, so it's hard to act that way, unless somebody actually gives us information, we can go investigate.
Okay.
But and Keith is also right, council can just assign those duties to Keith and then,
Okay, any other questions? 8.1.4, 2026 budget update. So,
The update is, we're
You
gonna
want
have to hold a special meeting in the coming weeks as soon as we get these last few things in, because we can't wait anymore, but we
No.
don't have it in time for this package.
okay,
I got a question.
thank you. Yeah, Counselor Patio.
So. Like, I don't know if maybe I forgot, or, isn't the public supposed to be involved in this?
Well, it will be once we have the draft with all the missing pieces, but there's some things that we can't publicize yet, like.
No, but aren't we supposed to have a public meeting to let the public, have their input on the 2026 budget?
That will be when
It'll be
that
tabled,
meeting.
it'll be tabled and then there'll be a time for people to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. 8.1.5, free dump days report to council.
All right.
I found that hard to believe, sorry.
Advising where I get.
Counselor, let,
So, I don't know, I can't remember if we've had the 2024 information when we were making this decision for 2026. Dumping days?
Yeah.
Is there any chance of canceling like July to save money? Is it worth it?
Well, I mean, it depends, like either way, you can pay for it, right? There's nothing that's free,
Right.
right? So there's a capacity, there's only a certain capacity at that landfill.
Sure.
Right, so if we fill it up faster, then, right, then,
But sure, but I'm speaking to this report is all in the negative, of this practice. Of having free dump days.
yeah, I mean, right, and fairly so. I mean, I'm opposed to this and, you know, if the council asked me to report, I like the user fee model because if you're a heavier user, then you should pay more. Otherwise, it's gonna be loaded somewhat way. So if it's loaded in the taxes, then people that are heavily taxed, like along the lake would be paying for it.
Mhm.
If it's free, at some point, somebody down the line has to pay for closing that landfill. I think this model right here, you're just speeding up. At one point, you're gonna have to close it, and if we're not putting money away to close it today, then future generations will have to pay for it.
Counselor Deepeel.
So I do see the value in being able to provide some equity for transportation. Is it utilized that way? I'm not the police of the garbage. But how we could maybe do some cost reduction and still reward our community is taxes are paid in two sums. And at 2 times a year, each tax ratepayer is given a free dump pass for a load of garbage. It's something I have mentioned in previous years. Gratitude for having your taxes being paid up to date. You want to pay it forward and give it to someone less fortunate, give it to the landlord, paying the rent on that and giving it to your renter.
I like that idea. Yeah. Counselor Tanya.
Okay. I'd rather see the garbage going to the dump instead of the bush, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, we're really not losing money. Like, we're really not, like, what I'm trying to get at is, we're really, like, we're given, free dumping for people that dump, right? So I don't think, what I'm trying to get at is, like, you're adding, you're adding 155 people dump there that day, and what we would get in revenue, correct? Right, so it's really not, what I'm trying to say is, it's really not costing us like hard cash, you know what I'm saying? It's not costing us, that's what it's, like, it's not costing us $10,000 on that Saturday to keep that dump open on wages, you know what I'm trying to get at?
Lost,
If I,
Lost, you know what I'm saying?
it is a lost revenue, but I can explain how I'm thinking about this. First, people are gonna dump in, we offer free brush. We take free brush for free, but now we're having to put a pile of material at the bottom of the sliding hill. Because people are dumping brush in there. So even though that we're offering to take brush for free, people are still dumping brush in, right? So, I mean, the idea that people are gonna stop a certain way because it's free, I don't necessarily second. The idea also is to clean up I see this as incentivizing people to actually collect garbage. So we're saying, okay, well, we're doing this to clean the community, but people are hoarding and having this refuse on land until they can dump it at a future date. So the hope is, so quite often in some of these instances, what we want the outcome to be is not necessarily the outcome we're gonna get, right? So, and if I may answer your question there, at some future date, and I estimated that today it's gonna cost us, if we were to close that landfill today and open up a new one, it'll cost us $20 million today, but we're not doing that today.
80 years from now.
We're gonna do it 80 years from now, and it's gonna cost us 60 million.
Okay.
Right, so and there's only so much capacity that we can fit in that landfill. So we're filling it up for free. Somewhere along that chain, somebody is gonna have to pay for that.
And I agree,
Yeah.
and I understand your argument,
Yeah.
but my argument is like, I mean, we're giving, the taxpayers, sort of a break to dump their free and clean up the community at the same time. But all the taxpayers in this community are paying for a lot of things that they don't use either. Like a lot of people, or 90% of the people in this town are paying for the arena that they don't use. We just give away $300,000 for 100 people that use the golf course. So what I'm trying to get at, sometimes a little bit of to sharing the wealth around, right? And for $10,000 that we lose, and we still keep the community, half clean,
Trying to clean it up.
is not as bad. I don't think, because how much would, like, we just spent $60,000 cleaning up a mess.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we're gonna recapture that money when we sell the property.
But you know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to say is, if we have to clean it up, what's it gonna cost us?
I mean,
You know what I mean?
yes, I mean, overall, it's not a big expense in comparison to some of the other things that we
Right.
Undertake. And I understand, I fully understand that, and it is a very popular,
And you're not cutting
community. And I'm just giving I would
Yeah.
rather at every instance that I can, I think the user base model is better because people that use it more are the ones that should have to pay for more of it. Now, obviously, the arena is a challenging one because we're not in it at a user where we would be profitable. So we would have to charge taxes to have the availability of that service. But if overall, yes, I mean, in comparison to the arena or any of the other services that town offers, it is a very small.
Yeah.
And this isn't, and I would not argue this to
And I'm just saying, it's good business, right? We're trying to attract people here. It's good business for the community. It's, you know what I mean? People, I don't know, I just think we're losing we're not cutting a check for $3,000. We're just kind of losing them, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Councilor DiPio.
So just to reiterate, I would like to see it where each ratepayer is provided with two free dump passes with their taxes every year. This will relieve the burden of the dump attendant having to accommodate this influx of people coming on the same day and still provide the relief for that garbage.
I think that's even worse, because you're giving out 500 free dump passes instead of 159. Because everybody,
well, I think it was.
She said you could share it.
Caveat that you have to be caught up in your taxes.
that's right. I mean, how many people are caught up in their taxes? There's gotta be at least 400 people, 400.
We don't know that.
Well, whatever, I don't know, but I'm saying it's a lot more than 155 feet, than 55.
Yeah.
Also, if I may, sorry, I just wanted to add something to that. So now we're moving into a year also that we're gonna be seeing construction, hopefully a lot of
Oh, that's right.
development. So that said, it is I say it in the report, obviously, if we were only open an hour, because refuse is not tied to the availability or the openness of the thing, really, we wanna keep the thing open as service. That said, we maybe wanna consider extending or opening up those hours in the future years, simply because, we're gonna have a lot of things going on. And that might be, something that this council or the future council, considers to open it up an extra couple hours.
So increase the attendance hours.
So,
Did you, sorry, hold on a sec, did you have something?
Well,
Say?
I'll let everybody.
You were next and then
then I'll-
Counselor Taddy was next.
I just want you, just to emphasize again,
Mhm.
if 300 people pay their taxes, that's 600 passes a year. And we're only giving out 300 passes, you know what I'm saying? Just think about that.
Mhm. Well, maybe, I'm gonna say how none of
Yeah.
it work them. Yes,
It-
Counselor Lanier.
Counselor, made a suggestion that can be entertained.
Yeah,
not
that's right.
entertained, That's up to,
Yeah.
it's up to this council or the next council.
Yeah.
I'm gonna relate back to, my conversation I had with you guys last meeting,
Yeah.
where I said that it is, I partaked in this, free tipping day. I went up there, but I took stuff up there. The only thing I took up there that would have cost me money at the time was, one bag of garbage, personal garbage.
Mhm.
The rest of it was stuff that I was cleaning out of my yard. But it's all free stuff that we're going to the dump anyway, scrap metal, brush, et cetera. So, but when I was there, the place was lined up right to the highway.
Yeah.
People were bringing in couches, mattresses, stuff like that. That stuff doesn't just appear overnight. That stuff that's being hoarded for these specific days so they could go in there and take advantage of going in there for free and dumping this stuff. And I agree 100% that it should be user pay. I sort of suggested that we still let them go in for free and dump off their stuff, but charge for the personal garbage. But I can still see, you see trucks going in there or trailers going in there loaded to the top with stuff that's been hoarded over the last 4 or 5 months. I'm assuming over the last 4 or 5 months, because there's no way somebody's gonna go and throw out 4 mattresses and a couch and a love seat overnight. So I think that it's to the whole purpose, my understanding of this movement for the free day, dump days or tipping days, or whatever you wanna call it, was to facilitate people to clean up their
Their
yards.
yard. That's right.
And a lot of the stuff could be taken up during a regular dump day, because it's free. It's gonna, like scrap metal is free, so, brush is free to go. And like Aaron said, people are dumping their brush. I know for a fact people are dumping their brush. They're driving down the highway to dump it off, instead of taking it to the dump. Why? Because they cut it, they wanna get rid of it, and they don't wanna wait for a garbage.
Yeah, but it's free, you can dump it anytime you want, it's free.
Well, I understand that, but they're not taking it to the dump.
No, no.
I don't understand why they don't.
Okay,
It's free. I know,
I think
they don't do. So what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to say is, if we're gonna maintain this, I think we should get rid of it. Maybe not this year, maybe it should be something for next year, but, cause we've already set it in play. But, it is costing us money, and it's gonna cost us money at the end of the in the 20 years, when it comes time to close the dump. It's gonna cost the township money.
Yeah.
I think that we're losing money here, and,
Mhm.
I think it should be user pay.
Moving on. 8.2.1, letter from Ignace Public Library Board, payroll administration.
Whereas Council for the Township of Ignace recognizes the independence of Ignace Public Library and the authority of the Library Board, therefore be it resolved that Council for the Township of Ignace receives the letter from the Ignace Public Library Board regarding library employee wages and directs administration to process library payroll as directed by the Library Board without further delay.
Need a mover, please? Counselor Taddeo, seconder, Counselor Minier. All in favor? Carried. 8.2.2, 2026 Ignace Public Library draft budget.
Before I read this one,
Yes.
I caught that one of the bottom line of the Excel spreadsheet with the $900 for printer and supplies wasn't added in the formula. So the total amount, should be $118,090, and the amount of funding from the township required would be $79,090. So the motion will be that council for the township of Ignace approves the Ignace Public Library 2026 budget and funding request with expenses of $118,090, with $79,090 in operating funding to be provided by the township of Ignace and an additional $30,000 in special funding from the Early Investment in Education and Skills Reserve Fund to support the purchase of small capital, and that these amounts be included in the 2026 township of Ignace budget.
Need a mover, please? Counselor DePiero, seconder. Counselor Tario, all in favor? Carried. 8.2.3, library request for funding for office furnishing.
Well, we already did that. This one should have gone in first. Whereas council for the township of Ignace recognizes the importance of investment in youth education and skills to ensure local children and young adults are equipped for the job demands of the future. And whereas council recognizes the importance of public libraries in providing welcoming environment to foster lifelong learning and create a sense of community. And whereas council appreciates the programs and learning opportunities that Ignace Public Library provides for local youth, therefore be it resolved that council for the township of Ignace approves $30,000 from the Early Investment in Education and Skills EIES fund to be used to upgrade office furnishings for Ignace Public Library, and that $30,000 in revenue and expenditures be added to the. We don't need to add that because that's in there already.
Need a,
So that's,
So the library.
Sorry.
is this not included in? the-
It was
Yeah,
included in the
yeah.
last one.
you said it should have been first. Mover, please? Counselor,
I don't understand why we're even talking about.
We don't need to.
Already in the
you
budget.
don't need.
Because it's included in the
Okay,
budget.
get with the first. Okay,
Yeah.
good enough. 8.2.4, Ignace early on CWBF application.
That council for the township of Ignace approves funding of $2,700 from the Community Wellbeing Fund to be provided to Ignace Early On Child and Family Center for 2026 Bike Safety Initiative.
Need a mover, please? Counselor Net, seconder, Counselor Catio, all in favor? Carried. 8.2.5, authorization to retain KGS Group for the water distribution freezing investigation.
That council authorized the mayor and CAO to execute an agreement with KGS Group for consulting services for the water distribution freezing investigation in accordance with NRFP 002-2026 for a fixed fee of $36,000 inclusive of contingency plus applicable taxes.
Need a mover, please? Counselor Manier, seconder, Counselor DePiero, all in favor? Carried. 8.2.6.
That council approved the township of Ignace written submission on the government of Canada's proposed major projects regulatory reforms as written and authorized the chief administrative officer to submit it on behalf of the township of Ignace.
Mover, please. Counselor Net, seconder, Counselor Tony, all in favor? Carried. 8.2.7.
That council authorized the township of Ignace to recruit a full-time dedicated treasurer and that the position require a chartered professional accountant CPA designation or an equivalent professional accounting designation in good standing. And further, that council approve an annual salary target in the range of approximately $110,000 to $135,000 plus benefits, subject to final job evaluation, market testing, and budget confirmation. And further, that council approve a recruitment budget that includes up to $20,000 in relocation assistance and reasonable candidate travel costs for in-person interviews and meetings.
Mover, Counselor Manier, seconder, Counselor Net. All in favor? Questions?
I think I'm for it.
Questions? Then, you have a question?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I do have a questions.
Yeah.
So if we hire a full-time treasurer, how many employees are we gonna be laying off?
Why would we be laying somebody off?
Well, I thought that's the last time we hired an individual that was to take care of that position.
So we we hired, Leslie to do that job. She is extremely busy and she's got a lot of things going on. So the idea is because we have some staff that are getting to the age at which they would probably start considering, leaving. And we want to make sure that institutional knowledge stays within the institution rather than having a gap there where important information is not conveyed to the new employee. So having somebody on board, relay that information before it goes out the door is sort of the strategy that we certainly, and when we move forward with an HR strategy, and hopefully pretty soon, that will highlight that, having that, implemented so we don't lose information. So this is foreseeing, in the coming year, or years, where, there might be, a need for this position. And given that we are proceeding into a growth period, you know, I think this would be a very strategic move.
Okay, so here's my suggestion, right? And I just want you guys to think about this. I think we should have peer review. I think we should bring, and I think I got asked for this before.
Yeah.
I think we should have peer review that office, see exactly what, and take your suggestions, we're gonna be growing, right? Okay. I think we should bring in a consultant that knows the business to tell us exactly, because I believe we need an economic development officer immediately, right? And there's a lot of positions that we do need, right? But the thing is, I think we should have some data to support that. I honestly believe that. We might be surprised, we might have to get 3 or 4 more people, or I don't know, maybe we don't need as many, we don't. What I'm trying to get at is, I think we should have some data, some support before we make a decision about it.
So, through the mayor, there was, we wanted to proceed with a full long-term financial plan. And that one of those avenues included in that was, a capacity report, employee capacity. That got tabled because the delivery date was like 2028. I don't think we can wait that long.
I don't think,
We're here, we're still thinking like a small town, and we need to be here where we've got to start thinking like a town that's gonna be growing. And the only way we're gonna get here is if we think like we're here, rather than thinking like we're here.
that's right. So what I'm saying is, if we bring in a third in here that knows the business, and he could tell us, he's gonna understand, he's gonna know where we're going and what we need to go to get there. And I think it's, you know, I think those are good dollars to spend. And I think
Get the report back and.
I think the community and the taxpayers will understand if we have to add positions. And I honestly believe, you know, don't get me wrong, we do need an economic development officer. I honestly believe that. I mean, Mayor Lucci was one of the best mayors we ever had, you know yourself, and
Yeah.
he agrees with me too. But I just think that it's very important that we do this exercise. We've talked about this before.
Councilor Net.
Can we not do both? Can we not do, because I don't know how long this would take for this preview and to find a person that knows it, male, female, whoever. I don't know what kind of timeline that will be, do you?
Oh, I think he'd probably walk in there in he or she, or you know, a couple of weeks.
To find this person?
No, I'm saying, I don't know how long it would take to find this person, but there's people out there that do this kind of work, right?
Of course.
Right? So I don't know, and we'd have to look into it.
But in the meantime, our CEO and staff are saying, I believe correctly, that they need
Well, we'll find
this
out.
position.
Leslie,
Why don't we do both?
sorry.
From a finance side, I don't think we need to spend the money to hire a consultant. It's just asking staff. It's to see
Yeah,
what is
that would-
going unfilled or who's wearing not just 2 hats, but 3 or 4, juggling the different things. So
Mhm.
to
That's fine.
kind of do an org
I'm just
review.
throwing, I'm just throwing it out.
Should we do that for the, because we do have a job placement that it closed, the opportunity closes on the 17th for a economic development generalist. We're not gonna hire them until, because we still have to come to council for authorized to do that. We did not do that yet because we got funding, for that. So we had to act fast on getting this going. But I mean, I guess if we're gonna hire a consultant, should we do that for the bylaw and the economic development generalist as well?
Well, maybe you should, I don't know, maybe, the consultant's gonna come back and say, Joe can do this job and that job, I don't know that. The only thing I know, the only thing the reason I'm kind of pushing back a little bit here is, I've been sitting on council for 16 years, right? We got more people working in that office than we ever had before, right? And I know we're a lot busier now, right? I know that.
It's changed.
It's changed, the world's changed, right?
Yeah.
Okay?
Mhm.
The thing is, when you got some data behind you to, say, hey, this is what we need to run our operation, then we can, because you know what? When we start hiring all these people, who's gonna be paying for this? We're gonna have to be looking at tax increase, correct?
Well, I think through the mayor, I think we need to look at a tax increase every year.
Am I correct? So we're gonna hire a chief building inspector, economic development officer, we want a treasurer now, right? Who's gonna be paying for that? The taxpayers.
Who's gonna pay for it if it's not?
Yeah. Well, then the taxpayers will pay for it if we don't.
Councilor Manier.
Okay, Councilor Taddy is bringing us some valid points, but then I have to reflect back to Councilor Taddy's words in the past where we need this stuff, we need to do this, we need to do that. He's talking about, we need an economic development officer.
Mhm.
Well, we weren't gonna be pricing it out with a consultant. We needed a CEO, ASAP. Councilor Taddy and I shopped around a little bit, found out what the salary dollars were, and then he was hired by Andrew. And we didn't farm that out for a consultant to find out. We didn't ask questions, who's gonna be fired? And I agree with Councilor Taddy. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the business could be run with 4 or 5 people in the office. Expansion is taking place. Money is being farmed out all over the place. Budgets are being increased. Tax dollars are being gathered. This all takes time, it all takes manpower. For us, I agree with Councilor Lett. We could do both. We could shop around, look for one, and if the council wants to pay $50,000-$60,000 for a consultant to come and tell us, oh, yes, you do need one, or you need 5, then do we want to spend that $50,000-$60,000 when we already know there's a need? So that,
Do we know there is a need?
I think we do.
You think that they would say?
Yeah.
I'm not, and you know what, we can't just keep saying, I want the taxpayers to pay stuff. Like, we have businesses coming to town, we have buildings being built. That cost, if you wanna call it that cost, will be absorbed through taxes from those people. It may not reflect heavily on the residents.
I don't see anything built yet.
Well, it's coming, right? And you gotta be, Ron, you have to agree that it's coming.
I know it's coming,
So so is this. It may take us 6 months. How long did it take us to get Aaron? Like, it took us months to get a CEO. So,
Can I?
no, I'm just trying to,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not shooting you down. I'm
no.
saying I agree with what you're saying.
Then we're gonna call the vote.
No, hang on.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna let you speak,
Just,
and then we're gonna,
So I'm agreeing with what you're saying, but I don't agree with the fact that you have to have that pushback when you say how many people are gonna be fired. Like, that's,
I never said that people are gonna be fired. I said, how many people are gonna lay off?
well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
Well, I know, but
So you try to spin it back to the tax dollar. It's something that is required, but like Aaron said, you gotta progress. Things have to progress. we don't rely on two people at the Mary Bergland. How many, I had no dealings with the Mary Bergland other than as a patient. But at the end of the day, Mary Bergland expanded over the years, right? Because there's a need.
Okay, can I,
Not because, oh, we don't wanna spend money,
Okay,
so.
and I agree with them too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, look at the history we've had in the last 2 years. We've gone through 1 and 2, 5, and right? We hired this guy, get rid of it, you know what I mean, this guy quit this. What I'm saying is, can't we bring somebody in that knows the business and say, hey, to run an efficient community, this is what you need in this. CAO, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you're doing a lousy job. I think you're doing a great job, a good job. What I'm trying to say is, we need some data, so when the public comes after us and say, you're gonna increase my taxes 10% this year, and I don't have a problem doing that, but I need proof.
Can we change Can we change the motion to vote?
I do have one more question.
change the
The
motion.
Lumix, did they not address manpower, or did we have a survey done?
Yes.
Saying that we needed manpower?
Yes.
Well, who did that?
So through the mayor, it would have been Lumex. There are some identified, I had to get, like, one of those things is it, economic development officer that we needed. I'd have to again look at.
I agree with that 100%.
So it's been done.
I'm not, we're not talking about we're
and-
talking about.
And it's not that, you know, it's, we know, and we're saying we know this, it's not because, we know because we have a parking lot that is getting longer and longer and longer of things that, you know, most of my job is not even doing CAO job. I'm doing a lot of procurement that I could have an engineering technologist that you pay $80,000 to do, right? And that probably could be coming in the next month or so, to propose that. And I think that can be related to the growth, because a large portion of what I believe and some of the language that's in the hosting agreement is the money in there is to support us through that growth period, because they've noticed over the years that there's a pain period in between where we have to get up and running to where actually to get where we need to go before we start reaping the benefits from that. And that money is to help us transition from you know, a township, and I'm probably gonna, a lot of people are gonna hate me, to moving to a city.
Okay.
Hopefully at some point.
One more thing, I'm not trying to take any.
Hey, I have a big goal.
Listen, I'm not trying to take anybody's jobs away from them, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to do it. What I'm trying to do here is, because we're gonna be going into another election here in 4 or 5 months, right? Who knows, none of us might be sitting at this table, guaranteed I won't be sitting here, you know, that. But what I'm trying to say, you bring in somebody that has some data saying, hey, this is what this township needs to operate, right? The next people that come in here, they're gonna hesitate before they start deciding, oh, we don't need this one, we need this, you know what I'm saying?
Leslie,
I think the data is the number of compliance reports and reports that are overdue. I mean, look, we're just finishing the 2022 audit.
Yeah.
We need that succession planning and that overlap, because if our deputy treasurer retires in the coming years, we need that overlap. I don't think we need to pay somebody to tell us we need that. The staff, we're telling you, we need that, because I've got 300 emails in my inbox that I haven't looked at yet from the last week.
Okay, what did you say, can we change the?
Clerk and treasurer.
To explore, but what, to accept this position plus explore.
Do we need to, or do we just bring that back with
I don't know if we're gonna get a vote on. Yeah.
proposing positions in the budget?
That would be another way. We would just have to, through the mayor, we would just have to communicate what the change in labor in the budget would be including. I'm good, like, I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to think of this outside of any elections. I'm trying to see what what I genuinely see as some sticky points moving forward, right? And I think it's hard for us to do the service, level of service that is required of us while, managing the workload, that is ever increasing.
So,
Can I talk, let's, maybe, George, why don't we just,
yeah.
Yeah, okay,
recorded vote,
yeah,
Big
okay.
check, yeah. Stick a recorded vote on
and then on the motion, you wanna read the motion? Sure. Just to make sure.
That council authorize the township of Ignace to recruit a full-time dedicated treasurer and that the position require a chartered professional accountant CPA designation or an equivalent professional accounting designation in good standing. And further, that council approve an annual salary target in the range of approximately $110,000 to $135,000 plus benefits, subject to final job evaluation, market testing, and budget confirmation. And further, that council approve a recruitment budget that includes up to $20,000 in relocation assistance and reasonable candidate travel costs for in-person interviews in Ignace. And that was moved by Councillor Menier and seconded by Councillor Lett. So, recorded vote, Councillor DPO.
Yes.
Councillor Lett.
Yes.
Councillor Menier.
Yes.
Councillor Taddeo.
No.
Mayor Bakery.
Yes. 8.2.8 property cleanup.
That council authorized the chief administrative officer to proceed with cleanup at 650 Highway 17 East, including removal of refuse, scrap metal, derelict vehicles, and overgrown vegetation if the owner remains in default, and that all township cleanup costs be recovered from the owner in accordance with bylaw 34-2021 and section 446 of the Municipal Act 2001, including by adding the net cost to the tax roll after applying any scrap proceeds. Further, that council further recognize that prompt action is warranted given the ongoing non-compliance, the extension of debris onto township-owned lands, and the heightened safety concerns arising from the fire incident on the property.
Need a mover, please. Councillor Net, seconder. Councillor Menier. All in favor? Question?
I just wanted, so if we go in, if it is within our rights and legal for us to clear that property, if it can't be considered anyone's asset?
So there are some, like, there's a little grader in there, right? So stuff like that, we could probably move or have it towed, right? And then that is reclaimable, by the resident. I think that would be a fair, anything that is worth money, right? I think that would be a fair way to undertake it. Unfortunately, this individual is a ghost. We attempted several times to contact him. He, I wouldn't even know how to contact this individual. So, like, how do I do this?
I'm just curious. I'm legitimately asking.
So, yeah, we have authority. So technically, previously, all you have to do is give one notice. It doesn't even have to be received. We just have to prove that it's been delivered. And that first of all, the property is not designated. So technically, we can fine him up to $50,000 because he's using the property outside of what has been zoned as appropriate to that. Obviously, we're not going to go that route. I think that would be a mistake. However, given that we're proceeding with attracting businesses, I think it needs to be addressed. We tried to contact them several times last year. Once we tried to figure out how to contact them, and the urgency came as a result of the fire. Now, like I said, any of the scrap metal that is just that scrap metal that is collected, that will be offset on his taxes. So if it's a net positive, that's what it is. Right, and then there is a grader there. I don't know what it's worth. I can probably find out. It's probably worth a couple of grand.
But that would go to his taxes if it was sold.
If it was sold, it would
Or
go
taken
on his
as scrap.
taxes, or we could tow it to a location, and then he would have to pay for
Storage.
Yeah. Councillor Dunning.
I don't have a problem with that, and I agree with that, let's get it cleaned up.
Yeah.
Okay, the only problem I got is, if we're gonna do that there, right? let's clean up our own mess too.
Our own mess.
Our own property that we own.
Okay, I definitely agree with you there. I'm sort of lost there.
Well, we got dilapidated
Yeah,
Yes,
vehicles and stuff that's sitting on our property that we own now. We gotta get that cleaned up too, and it's right on the corridor.
okay, so you're talking, I think I know where you're talking
Yeah,
about.
look, I mean, let's do them both at the same time.
Yeah.
Get it done, and it'll look much better than what it is now.
Yeah, that might be, I think I might have more information enclosed about that.
Okay,
But,
you know what I'm
yeah,
talking
I
about.
definitely,
Did I get a number?
the bylaw should apply to everyone equally, for sure.
What I'm trying to get at is, I know, even if we sell that property, that stuff is worth money for the township of Ignace to just pick up the phone and say, hey, Mr. Scrap Dealer, come and get this,
Yeah. Okay, so all in favor of that?
You're-
Carried.
you're done.
8.2.9, authorization to proceed with architecture and engineering consulting service for the pavilion at the beach project.
That the council authorize staff to proceed with a competitive procurement process for architectural and engineering consulting services for the pavilion at the beach project with an estimated project value of $150,000. And that staff be directed to undertake public engagement as part of the consulting assignment, to gather input on aesthetics, space usage, related design considerations, and potential project components. And further, that the staff report back to council following the bidding process with the highest scoring proponent and any recommendations for award.
Mover, please. Counselor Patio, second Counselor Beth. All in favor? Carried. 8.2.10, arena community input for proposed new name.
That council received report SR 26-466 regarding the arena renaming initiative community survey, and that council direct the administration to proceed with the preferred naming option identified through the public engagement process as Ignace Recreation and Wellness Center, and that council direct the administration to proceed with exterior signage not to exceed estimated $25,000 for signage upgrades to the facility.
Need a mover, please. Counselor Patio. Seconder, Counselor Manier. Question, because we only had 12 votes to get to there.
So, the reason why we brought this back, it's very close between carrying the old name and this one. So, you know, I just thought we would get authorization on how council wants to proceed with this and authorize, we would like to, does that cost estimate include the backlit or is that?
Yeah.
So it would be a backlit sign with the name. Part of this tender includes a plug at that location, just in case if, for whatever reason, we don't want to go with backlit at some future, if the council, some future council or whatever decides to have a backlit, that they can have a lane opportunity or option. So, yeah, that's where we're at. The old sign just, it looks like it was handmade. I think it would be worthwhile spending a little bit of money to.
Okay,
Yes, I mean, we're getting a nice new shelf, we're
Sign,
getting a
yeah.
nice new, as much as possible, let's have a nice new sign.
sign.
Yeah, and then I think given, I mean, this can be installed by, we can pull this out of the scope of work for this and we can have it installed by the sign people too. What we can do is we can potentially have different design considerations that we can bring to you or the community. This is not something that really needs to move forward with quickly. But I do think it's something that we need to get right. So that's why we're discussing this today.
Counselor DPU.
Given, I see the issue now with given the 3 responses and then the total votes being very close. Can we put it out again with just the 2 names? One last push for, just to make sure we get it right.
I have one other question too. Are there, the ones that they voted or wrote in names, there were 18 votes, was there anything consistent Yeah, you said the following.
No, through the mayor, the majority of the voting was for the, top two as listed on the report. We could do a secondary survey. I err on the side of caution of that, considering timelines and
There's
work
no
scope.
That was
Work
what we were
scope that needs to
told.
be done, sorry, to the mayor, that we need to have to our builders to get this ready. We have to order the wording, we have to order the signs. You can accept option number 3, and retain the current name. It's simple as that. Everybody's gonna know what that read anyway, so.
Not necessarily. We all knew, right? All new people and stuff like that.
Sorry?
It'll still be the arena.
Fine, whatever you wanna call it personally, but I mean, to me, my opinion anyway, it should happen.
Well, it's a recreational center, that's exactly what it is. Might as well just get in there.
Well, the.
Wellness center.
So it was just a name that popped up, it's almost putting the cart in front of the horse, because, I mean, provided we can proceed next year with a phase 2 of modernizing the interior, there are some interior issues, accessibility, security issues. Today, we caught 4 individuals playing basketball in the dark without authorization to be in there, trespassing essentially. So we need, there's some interior considerations, including space usage. So knowing and where you might think that where am I coming with putting that horse in front of the, or is that we're gonna have to decide what that sign is before there's any decision on what the usage is.
Yes,
But just to read it, I would like one last push with
Yeah,
2
okay.
names, to be voted on, taking the third one out, the highest 2, and then
so then instead of it coming back to council, we go with the one that is,
of the 2 names.
and give them authorization now.
So then if they're close again, we're gonna go for another round 3 or what?
No, okay, all in favor?
Well,
Oh,
the
You gotta
the
reread
motion
that.
was
or,
that council receive report SR 26-466 regarding the arena renaming initiative community survey, and that council direct the administration to proceed with the preferred naming option identified through the public engagement process as Ignace Recreation and Wellness Center, and that council direct the administration to proceed with exterior signage not to exceed estimated $25,000 for signage upgrades to the facility.
All in favor?
instead of doing that? Instead of, okay. Carried. Okay, 8.2.11 survey results for arena color choice.
That the council receives the results carried out by the community survey to provide a choice of 4 color palettes for the exterior of the arena. And further, that the council approves the preferred choice of the exterior color and trim for the arena as per the community survey.
Mover, please. Counselor Manier, seconder, Counselor Tadio, all in favor? Carried. I like that color.
Most arenas are that color too.
Okay, moving on, notice motions, none. Bylaws for consideration, 10.1.
That council passed bylaw 23-2026, being a bylaw to appoint building officials and delegate appointment authority under the Building Code Act 1992, including the appointment of Devin Staley as chief building official and Gerald Moore as deputy chief building official for the township of Ignace.
Need a mover, please. Counselor Net, seconder. Counselor DeFeo, all in favor? Carried. Bylaw, 10.2 bylaw, 24-26.
That council for the township of Ignace adopt bylaw number 24-2026, being a bylaw to adopt an R-zone policy for the township of Ignace.
Mover, please. Counselor Manier, seconder. Counselor Tadio, all in favor? Carried. 10.3 bylaw 25-2026.
That council for the Township of Big Nays enacts bylaw 25-2026, being a bylaw to deem a portion of registered plan 23 M810 lot 55 and plan 23 M810 lot 56 not to be a plan of subdivision for the purposes of subsection 50-3 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, CP 13.
Mover, please. Counselor Tanu, seconder, Counselor Manier. All in favor? Carried. 10.4, bylaw 26-2026.
That council for the Township of Big Nays enacts bylaw 26.2026, being a bylaw to deem a portion of registered plan M188 lot 2 to 3 PCLS 199767773 and plan M188 lot 4 7772 not to be a registered plan of subdivision for the purposes of subsection 53 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, CP 13.
Mover, please. Counselor Defield,
Yes.
will you move it?
Yes.
Thank you. Counselor Manier, second. All in favor? Carried. 10.5. Bylaw 27-2026.
That council for the Township of Big Nays accept report SR-26-458 regarding the proposed reconciliation policy, and that council adopt the Township of Big Nays reconciliation policy as presented, and that council direct administration to implement the policy and direct the Indigenous and community development strategists to begin implementing the attached annual work plan, which includes learning and engagement initiatives consistent with the policy objectives. Whereas section 5-3 of the Municipal Act 2001, so 2001 chapter 25 as amended, provides that a municipal power shall be exercised by bylaw.
Need a mover, please. Counselor seconder. Counselor Daniel, all in favor? Carried. Questions from the public? Do we have any tonight?
No.
Oh, good, I'm here.
By yourself, everyone left there.
No hands seen coming up.
We do have, an audience, they are able to unmute themselves to
Okay.
ask a question.
Okay, sorry,
No
No one?
No
Okay.
responses thus
Okay.
far.
Hello,
hello,
it's Helen. I didn't know how to put up my hand.
okay,
I see Home Hardware is clearing the area at Humphrey Road, so obviously they got it. I just wanted to know if, the old grocery store is condemned or not.
Through the mayor.
yes, go ahead and answer that.
I am reluctant, being an engineer, I can't state stuff that I don't have information for.
Mhm.
If you don't mind. Through the mayor, with the status of the, Old Bridge store in the plaza,
Mhm.
we will definitely have to take a look at the status of the structure and the property itself. That report will have to come further in the future, pending, negotiation.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you. Thank you, everyone online. We're going to close session. Yeah.
Not there. You guys gotta pass a resolution, we're gonna say.
Yeah, I know she's on waiting.
That the council for the corporation of the Township of Big Nays convenes into the closed meeting of this regular meeting of council this 15th day of June 2026 at 8:03 p.m. to discuss the following: closed session matters pursuant to section 239(2) BCEI and K. B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Property matter. C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. Property sales. E, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. Litigation. I, a trade secret or scientific, technical, commercial, financial, or labor relations information supplied in confidence to the municipality or local board, which if disclosed could reasonably be expected to prejudice significantly the competitive position or interfere significantly with the contractual or other negotiations of a person, group of persons, or organization, procurement discussion, and pay, position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board. 2001 C25, section 239-2, 2017, chapter 10, section 26, contract negotiation.
Need a mover, please. Counselor Menier and Counselor DeKeel saying, all in favor? Thank you, Dana.
That the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace arise from the closed meeting at 9:02 p.m. on this 15th day of June 2026, and the following resolutions emanated, and those will be separate.
Need a mover, Counselor Menier, Counselor DeKeel, all in favor? Carried.
Okay, motion number one emanating from closed meeting, that the council for the township of Ignace approves the administration to enter into a final payment extension agreement with the owner and or interested parties of the property on Davy Lake Road with the roll number 6001-0000001-4616000000 prior to the tax arrears certificate repayment deadline of July 9, 2026. And that if this agreement is not signed by July 9, 2026, or if payment in full is not received by Monday, August 31st, 2026 at 4:29 p.m. Central Time, the property will proceed to tax sale as per the prior notice.
Need a mover, please. Counselor Taddeo, second, Counselor Lett. Counselor Menier? Are we, Counselor Taddeo, move.
Yeah.
Counselor Menier.
Okay.
Second. Are we having a recorded vote on this or just voting?
I don't care.
Who's just voting?
Okay, all in favor of this?
Okay,
No,
No.
I think you voted.
We're not in favor.
we're not.
Oh, we're not, oh,
No.
okay,
That's
sorry,
wait,
sorry.
it was,
Do you want me to reread it? That the council of the township of Ignace approves the administration to enter into a final payment extension agreement with the owner and or interested parties of the property on Davy Lake Road with the roll number 60000001-4616000000 prior to the tax arrear certificate repayment deadline of July 9, 2026. And that if this agreement is not signed by July 9, 2026, or if payment in full is not received by Monday, August 31st, 2026 at 4:29 p.m. Central Time, the property will proceed to tax sale as per the prior notice.
Okay, so I have a mover and a seconder.
Yeah.
So all in favor?
all in favor of,
And
we're not,
those.
We're not.
opposed?
And those opposed?
So it's good to go.
Okay.
And the next one emanating is whereas council for the township of Ignace acknowledges that charges to remove waste from the two properties on Cedar Street with roll numbers 6001-000-001-47109 and 6001-000-001-47108 were added to the property tax accounts after the tax arrear certificates were registered on July 9, 2025, thereby substantially increasing the amount of the full payment cancellation price required to release the properties from the tax sale process. And whereas the property owner was notified in writing multiple times that additional charges would be added to the property tax accounts and the cost of cleanup was divided evenly between the two adjoining properties because it was invoiced as one project from the service provider. And whereas these charges were administered lawfully in accordance with the Municipal Act 2001, therefore be it resolved that council for the township of Ignace authorizes the administration to enter into a tax arrears payment extension agreement with the property owner for the two properties with roll numbers 6001-000-001-47109 and 6001-000-001-47108 if the owner so agrees prior to the deadline of July 9, 2026. And that the extended payment deadline be no later than August 31st, 2026, and that if the owner does not agree to an extension, the properties will proceed to tax sale on July 9, 2026 as per prior notice. And further, that the full amount of the property tax accounts, including any incurred fees and charges, must be paid in full as per the regulations in the Municipal Act 2001, and council has no authority to alter the cancellation price required.
Need a mover, please? Counselor Net, seconder, Counselor DeFeo, all in favor? Those opposed,
So it's defeated.
defeated.
And the next motion emanating from closed is that the council for the township of Ignace approves the administration to enter into an agreement to purchase and sale and a 2-year development agreement with Gavin Berube for 122 Robinson Crescent in the amount of $1,500, and that the council congratulates Gavin Berube on winning first place in individual carpentry at the 2026 Skills on competition and placing fourth in Canada at nationals.
Need a mover, please? Counselor Manier, seconder, Counselor DeFeo, all in favor? Carried.
And the next one is that the council rejects a second offer for 122 Robinson Crescent and authorizes the administration to refund any deposits submitted with the second expression of interest for this property.
Need a mover, please? Counselor Taddeo, seconder, Counselor Net, all in favor? Carried.
And then the first of a few more, that the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace approves the sale of the following surplus properties to Revita Asset Management Inc. at a price of $4,000 each, subject to a 2-year development agreement. 107 Robinson Crescent, 109 Robinson Crescent, 66 Boone Street, 99 Tapsy Street, 102 Tapsy Street, 104 Tapsy Street, 108 Tapsy Street, 110 Tapsy Street, 111 Tapsy Street, 112 Tapsy Street, 113 Tapsy Street, 114 Tapsy Street, 116 Tapsy Street, 135 Tapsy Street.
Need a mover, please?
We're gonna get clarification on 102 before we sold this property. Okay.
It's not on,
It's on,
oh, it's on there,
Yeah.
yeah. So do we have to,
well, if it's not ours, then we can't.
then we can't sell it, okay.
But yes.
Need a mover, please? Counselor DeFeo and a seconder, Counselor Manier, all in favor? Carried. Sorry, I seen that look and I wondered, yeah, okay.
I think it was just a.
Yeah,
Okay, the next one is that the council rejects the expression of interest in offers submitted for the following 8 surplus properties and authorizes the administration to refund any deposits received for these properties. 203 Wren Street, 205 Wren Street, 213 Wren Street, 235 Wren Street, 347 Tate Street, 349 Tate Street, 456 Berglund Street, 460 Berglund Street.
mover, please. Counselor Taddeo, seconder, Counselor Net, all in favor? Carried.
And one more, that the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace rejects an offer of $1,000 for the surplus residential property at 360 East Street because it is less than 10% of the current market value of $14,000 as appraised by a third-party real estate professional, and directs administration to return any deposits submitted with the expression of interest.
Mover, please. Counselor Manier, seconder, Counselor DeFeo, all in favor? Carried.
And then
Affirmative.
another one.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So good. Whereas the estimated market value of 940 Humphrey Road is approximately $112,000 based on comparable sales, and whereas council has already accepted confidential staff report CSR 26-113 along with a draft letter of intent and preliminary business plan for commercial development, and directed the administration to negotiate the sale of 308 Main Street, 301 McLeod Street, 940 Humphrey Road, and the south section of the plaza parking lot, which is referred to as 316 Main Street, and return to council with the draft agreements of purchase and sale and the draft development agreements for final approval. And whereas the commercial developer is willing to offer $60,000 for 940 Humphrey Road, which is an offer of approximately 53.6% of the value and is permitted under the community improvement plan, but is no longer interested in the other properties at this time. Therefore, be it resolved that council for the township of Ignace approves the sale of 940 Humphrey Road to CK Building Center Inc. in the amount of $60,000 plus legal fees with a 2-year development agreement required, and further that 308 Main Street, 301 McLeod Street, and the south section of the plaza parking lot, which is referred to as 316 Main Street, be returned to the list of available surplus properties.
Need a mover, please. Counselor Net, seconder, Counselor Taddeo, all in favor? Carried.
And one more. That the council for the township of Ignace rejects a fourth offer to purchase 940 Humphrey Road received on May 25th, 2026, and directs the administration to refund the submitted deposit due to ongoing negotiations for commercial development as approved with resolution number 2026.03.26.107 at the March 26, 2026 special meeting of council.
Need a mover, please? Counselor Menier, seconder. Counselor DPO, all in favor? Carried. Confirmatory now?
I got one more.
Okay.
Water refund. Whereas council has received two offers for 405 Pine Street, the highest of which was for $68,000, which exceeds the estimated market value. And whereas council would like to recover the price paid to repurchase the property on option and the unpaid property taxes to July 31st, 2025. Therefore, be it resolved that Council of the Township of Ignace authorizes the administration to enter into an agreement to purchase and sale and 2-year development agreement for the surplus multi-residential property at 405 Pine Street with LWD Corporation at a counter offer amount of $69,800, and that council rejects the other offer of $23,998 submitted for 405 Pine Street and directs the administration to return any deposit submitted with that expression of interest.
Mover, please, Counselor Tadeo, seconder, Counselor Menier, all in favor? Carried. Now confirmatory?
That bylaw 28.20, bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council of this corporation of the township of Ignace. And its regular meeting of council dated June 15, 2026, be read a first, second, third time and finally passed.
Need a mover, please? Counselor DPO, Counselor Let, second, all in favor? Adjournment.
That the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace adjourns this regular meeting of council this 15th day of June 2026 at 9:13.
Counselor Tadeo, Counselor Menier, all in favor? Carried. Thank you, everyone online. Have a good evening.
Good night, folks.